Monica, how are you? Thank you so much. We'll start with your bio first,
Yeah,
then
sure.
we'll start with your presentation.
Amazing. Thank you.
Samantha Delina is an IT professional turned leadership coach, blending technical expertise with a people-first approach. With experience in software development and IT consulting across education and hospitality, she discovered her passion for problem solving through human connection. Leading teams deepened her interest in behavior, inspiring a leadership style rooted in empathy and sustainability. Now a qualified coach, she focuses on facilitation and coaching to empower others with insights and guidance. That was a great bio. Now
Amazing.
let's start with your presentation.
Thank you so much, Melinda. So hello, everyone. I'll just see, just checking that we can see my PowerPoint. Can everyone see the PowerPoint presentation? Because I can't see that yet. Not yet. Fabulous. One moment. Okay, there we go. Amazing. So hello, everybody. My name is Samantha Delina, and I'm so delighted to be here today talking about creating a supportive network where women can support women. And I'm so excited to be here with you all, and it's been such an amazing summit so far. And we're going to have a bit of a fun session, so I hope that's all right with you. So we're going to be covering a couple of different ideas, mainly the problem that I see with women and their experience of networking, looking at some evidence and then some practical strategies on how we can actually improve and create a much more supportive network. And then the idea of a ripple effect, which is just a fabulous way that our supportive network can help us. So I'm going to start with a story, and this is a story about someone that most of us will know, Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Meta and the author of Lean In. Now, Sheryl built a career at the top of the tech world, but when she faced an unimaginable personal tragedy, the sudden loss of her husband, it wasn't just her skills or experience that helped her to navigate it. It was a strong network of women around her. They lifted her up. They supported her. They reminded her that leadership isn't just about success. It's about having people who walk with you through the challenges. Now, today, her Lean In movement continues that legacy, proving that when women support women, we all rise together. Now, isn't that such a powerful story? And I'm sure that we've either experienced something similar or have seen a variation of that throughout our personal and professional lives. So, why are we here talking about it today? Well, the fact is that women don't approach networking the same as men. And it is such an amazing space where women can come together to create that nurturing environment that promotes growth and advancement. So let's have a little bit of a think. Why is it that women and men approach and perceive networking differently? Well, just to put it plainly, women often make contacts through people they know, and they tend to form smaller, deeper networks based around trust. It's much more close-knit. Often, women can hesitate to ask for what they want based on this collective societal people-pleasing that they are taught. And so they don't really get what they need out of a networking interaction. Men, on the other hand, approach networking much more directly They're focusing on the transactional relationships that's necessary in this networking and quickly establish professional connections. So they kind of have a bit of a leg up on what we do. So let me ask you this. Do you feel comfortable networking, or are you uncomfortable? As we've just seen, many women prefer to focus on building those personal relationships, often to avoid that icky feeling of the intentional motives there. But that's what's necessary to help their career. And then we also come across the other problem, which is the unbalanced burden of home responsibilities and childcare, which often takes up the time when most networking events take place, after work, in the evenings, and on the weekends. Now, unfortunately, I can't help you with the balance of home responsibilities today. But what I can help you with is how to feel more comfortable networking and going out there and building your network. So that's what we're going to focus on. So let's cover off a bit more of the benefits of creating a network around us. Well, firstly, improved work performance. So the fact that you have supportive people around you and people who can help keep you up to date on industry trends, perhaps they have, inside information about new things that are coming up within your space. That all builds and helps with performance at work. Then there is leadership development. Now, the American Psychological Association has done studies, and it's shown that having networks and mentors increase a woman's chance of career success by up to 83%. That's massive. Leadership development in the idea of networking, it has so much benefit because you can find and be with people who are a few steps ahead of the journey than you are. So they can help share information and knowledge around what's worked, what hasn't worked. Then there is wider career opportunities. Now, this isn't just about moving up. Now we're talking about moving any direction. So it could be a lateral move. Perhaps you're looking to change industries or change professions. How do you go about that? How do you knock on the door into that new space? That's where networking comes in. And then there's having a sounding board. And this is the most amazing experience, to have people around you who you can bounce ideas off and not be concerned about, looking silly or what sort of questions you're going to ask. They're there with you to help you work through challenges or questions or innovations that you have. And I like to think of all of this because these are very different benefits that all come together. And I like to think of this like a spider's web. Now stay with me on this one. A spider's web may look delicate, but it's one of the strongest structures in nature. Each thread may seem fragile, but together they create a powerful and strong network, one that supports, captures opportunities, and just adapts to whatever comes its way. Women's networking is just like that. It's not about a single connection, but the web that we weave together. Offering support, sharing knowledge, creating a structure that holds strong even in the toughest conditions. Just like we heard with Sheryl Sandberg. The more we build, the stronger it becomes. And when one thread is shaken, the whole web responds, reinforcing and lifting each other up. So the spider web is how I love to see this. And Hazel Hawke has a really interesting way of describing this too. She says that women's networks are a necessary part of life. A mixture of empathy and brainstorming can move mountains. So now that we know there's so many great things, let's really jump in and see what is there that we need to know? Well, there are three core pillars to building a supportive network. There's mentorship, collaboration, and community. So let's go one by one. Mentorship. This is where you have guidance from a mentor, especially an experienced person. So this is the idea about being around people who are a few steps ahead of you in the journey. They've experienced what you're about to experience. They can offer support and guidance. The next pillar is collaboration. And now collaboration is the act of working together with others to achieve a common goal. Now, the key here is working together with others. And this is an important point that we'll touch on a little bit more, where there is space for everyone. Often we feel like we don't want to step forward and take that space for fear of taking it away from someone else. That's just not true. There is space for us all here. And so collaboration is about that working together. And the third core pillar is community. And community is about a group of people who share a common interest and interact with each other. Now, the key point of community is the common interest. So this is where you find your tribe, you find your group of people, your people. It might be those in the same industry as you, or perhaps it's different industries, but they're at that same level, that same season in their career as you. Or perhaps it's someone who has similar hobbies or a similar life circumstance. Whatever it might be, there is a thread there that connects you, and that helps when we're building networks. So this slide is just about a bit of the evidence about all the studies that have been done that prove how important it is. And I'm not going to read everything that's on the screen, but just to really reinforce the idea that even if we have a network, even if women have a network, it's less likely to be a strong network. We're less likely to utilize that network. And so there's that side. And the other side is all the things about how we know it's so important. There's, people with networking have 20% increase in salary. 80% of professional women at a managerial level and above use networking to advance their careers. There's so many benefits here. And they just keep coming with more studies to prove that. So this is why we're here to take action, ladies. So how do we do that? Well, there are some strategies that we're going to cover in this session, and they are collaboration, relationships, and professional organizations. Now, collaboration is what we're going to start with. And as our friend Leonard Nimoy says, the miracle is this: the more we share, the more we have. So it really reinforces that idea that there is space for everyone. And so collaboration is about allowing individuals to pool their knowledge, their skills, their perspectives to achieve this common goal. And it's more than that. It's about pooling your contacts as well. So you expand your circle of contacts from friends, family, and the immediate people you work with. And you bring that out further to second, third, fourth degree connections. And all of a sudden, the people around you that are here to provide opportunities and support and help has grown so much. So how is it then that we have trouble with this connection piece? Well, the really important part here about how we can improve this is knowing how to talk about our strengths and accomplishments. Now, I can hear Even though I can't hear you, I can imagine hearing you all go, oh, not this again. I don't like talking about my strengths. I sound kind of salesy and it feels a bit icky. Well, this is something that we need to really work on. So the way to get comfortable with talking about your strengths and achievements is to practice talking about it. Now, we can start small, and this can be as small as standing in front of the mirror and talking out loud to yourself, telling yourself the amazing things that you've achieved, telling yourself, what was the one great thing that I accomplished at work this week? The more we practice talking about it out loud, the easier it will become and the more natural it will feel. Now, I'm not talking about, being egoistic here. This is about just truthfully and reasonably explaining what great things you've done. Now, if talking in front of the mirror seems a little bit too much, the step's a little bit too big, we can take it back even further. Record yourself on your phone. Listen back to yourself. And when you do that, I want you to ask yourself this question. Does what I say sound reasonable, truthful, and authentic? That's it. If it's reasonable, truthful, and authentic, it won't come across as salesy. It won't come across as narcissistic. It will just be your truth. And if that still feels uncomfortable, then it's time to really look inwards. What do you believe about sharing your strengths and accomplishments? What do you believe when you hear others share their strengths and accomplishments? Is what you believe true? That's the question. And if it isn't, then we have an amazing opportunity to choose a different belief. I will remind you again that there is space for all of us. Talking about your strengths doesn't take away from someone else's. We are all here to build each other up. All right. So pillar number 1 is done. Here we go to pillar 2, relationships. Now, why is this important? We're women. We can make relationships. We're pretty good at getting along with people. But what I wanted to talk here is about how relationships are so important in terms of networking because they open doors to new opportunities. They provide valuable insights, support, and facilitate knowledge sharing. They also keep you up to date on industry trends. Now, Adam Grant has an amazing way of describing this. From a relationship perspective, givers build deeper and broader connections. Now, that's an important part there. Givers build deeper and broader connections. And the first thing that I'm covering here around relationships is approaching this with a giver mentality. What does that mean? It means that you are not just there to receive. You're not just networking to get something, to get a promotion, to get a pay rise, to get a new job. No. You are there to create a relationship. And that means you need to consider what value can you add to the relationship? What value do you provide? What can I give? If you focus on giving and the value that you give, the rest will fall into place. People like being around generous people. The energy that you're putting out there will bring back to you. The next part about relationships is about gratitude. Now, I guess you're wondering, what has gratitude got to do with networking? Well, the more that you are grateful for what you have and the relationships that you're building, the stronger that social connection will be. It will also boost your self-esteem. which puts you energetically in such a better place to be a giver. So the thing with gratitude, because we talk about it a lot, the thing with gratitude is to be specific. What are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? It can't just be, I have a great bunch of people around me. Specifically, what is it? And express that gratitude to others. Express it to those around you. And, sometimes it can not be easy. It can be a bit tough to come up with something that you're thankful for. And in those times, I offer this to you. Find gratitude in the everyday moments. It can be something as small as thanking someone for holding the door open for you, or being grateful that it's a beautiful blue sky and you didn't get wet walking from the car. Whatever it is, if you can find something that you're grateful for every day, that will put you in a better place to have a stronger relationship with those around you. Okay, pillar number 3, professional organizations. So this is probably what you all thought we were going to talk about today. Look, professional organizations are really important, and there are so many out there, specifically online and face-to-face. Now, LinkedIn is obviously the biggest online networking in social media platform, and I encourage you to leverage that. Leverage social media, leverage LinkedIn. And if online is not your thing, or you're possibly looking for more face-to-face connections, then look for local events around you. There are so many out there when you start looking. If you're feeling a little bit scared about doing that in person, go with a friend. But that comes with a disclaimer. You have to talk to other people. That's the point of a networking event. Have your friend as support, but make sure that you are talking to other people. And the way to do that and feel okay about that is by using our first 2 pillars, collaboration and relationships. So practicing talking about your strengths, about what you've achieved, and coming into that space and event with a giver mentality and gratitude. That's what's going to help you move forward when you reach out into those professional organizations. And I'll take a very quick few seconds to ask you this question to reflect on, perhaps after you've finished here tonight. Who has played a key role in your career growth? And how did they support you? The more that you think about who has helped you along the way, that helps to build that gratitude. And it helps you to consider how you might be able to help others too. As we said, with relationships, it's give, it's not just take. And kind of to wrap up out of this session, I wanted to touch on this beautiful ripple effect that I'm sure you have all heard of. And I would leave this thought with you. Imagine dropping a small pebble into a still pond. At first, you see just one ripple, but then that ripple expands, touching others, growing wider and wider. That's what happens when women support each other in leadership. It starts with one connection, one conversation, one act of mentorship. But its impact reaches far beyond just 2 people. It creates a wave of opportunities, confidence, and change. That just gets me every time. Ripple effect is real. And I invite you to consider, I know we've covered a lot, but I invite you to consider what's one step you'll take today to strengthen your network. Maybe you'll take it from the collaboration pillar and you'll practice talking about your strengths. Maybe you'll take it from the relationships pillar and you'll look at how you're approaching your networking relationships. or put into place a gratitude practice. Maybe you'll take it from the third pillar of professional organisations, and you'll start to be a little bit more active on LinkedIn, or you'll look for some local events around you. Grab a few friends and go together, but talk to other people. Whatever it might be, I invite you to write that down. Commit to that action. Having this knowledge and thoughts around networking is a great awareness, but action is what creates change. And so, to recap, we are here together and we rise by lifting each other up. Supportive networks aren't just beneficial, they are necessary for our collective success. And I have this final quote from Serena Williams to share with you, that really to remind us the success of every woman should be the inspiration of another. It's not competition. We are here to raise each other up. So make sure that you're very courageous, be strong, be extremely kind, and above all, be humble. Thank you so much. I think that's time. It is a beautiful quote, and I would love you to continue this and keep networking and just reach out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that quite informative session. We have a few questions from the audiences. We would like to address you. How can women build meaningful professional networks beyond transactions?
What a great question. Thank you, Melinda. So this really comes back to the core about relationship building, that is around that giver mentality. So when you have a transactional relationship, it is about, what can I get from this? What can I take away? Even if that's two-way, the other person's thinking the same. But when we approach relationships with a giver mentality, we are there to say, what can I provide? And what I'm providing isn't a one-off. It's a relationship, which means it's long-term. So there's I can't remember the quote, but there's the idea about burning bridges too soon. We want to lay a strong foundation of a relationship that can continue, not just a quick rickety bridge that gets burned down. So approaching it with, what value can I provide, is a really great start to that.
Thank you so much for your wonderful answer. Hope our audience might find helpful for the answer. Thank you so much for your presentation.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Melinda, and thank you, everybody.